Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I welcome all of you to our Bhagavad Gita class. We are on chapter 10, and the objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to enable and to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. We are on chapter 10, the opulence of the absolute. So we are going to talk about Krishna's opulences here. And this particular chapter is divided into 4 sections. The first section is from shlok number 1 to 7, knowing that Krishna is unknowable and the source of all. And from shlok 8 to 11, which is 4 shloks, it's for pure bhakti, and it's called Chatur Shloki Gita. And from 12 to 18, Arjun accepts Krishna's supreme position. And from 19 to 42, where Lord Krishna describes his various opulences. And then we will go ahead with the chapter 10, glories of chapter 10 from Panpuran. This will be what we'll be reading in chapter 10. But before we proceed, let us see what we, in short discuss in the last chapter. So we know in Bhagavad Gita we have got 18 chapters, and this 18 chapters is divided into 3 parts. The first 6 chapter, which is focused more on Karm Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and Dhyan Yoga, and the last 6 chapter, which is from 13th to 18th, which is basically on more on Gyan Yoga, and from 7th to 12th chapter, which is on Bhakti Yoga. And if you have to summarize Gita, as we saw in the last chapter, last class, it is Krishna says in the last chapter, 18th chapter, is he says, Sarv dharman parityajay mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshashyami mashrucha. He says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. And I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. Why is he saying so? Because Bhagavad Gita is going to help us come out of this bondage of birth and death. Until we have sins, we cannot come out of this bondage of birth and death. And Krishna says, leave all your duties. What you have to do? Just surrender unto me. And if you surrender unto me, what will happen? I will ensure that you actually pass through all your aham tvam sarupapebhyo, from all your sins. I will ensure that you get moksha. Mashrucha, do not fear. Yeah, so that he says that. But the question is, he is asking, just surrender unto me, right? But how to surrender? What is the way to surrender? And that is what is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, which is chapter 9. Chapter 9 is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And in chapter 9, the last shlok of Bhagavad Gita, which is 34th shlok, is actually called the essence of Bhagavad Gita. It says, Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame veshyasi yuktetvam atmanam mat paranam. He says, what do you mean by surrender? How should you surrender? And he gives us 4 methods by which we can surrender. Manmana. Manmana is think of me always. Think of me always. And who is the example of this, the biggest of Manmana? It is basically the gopis of Vrindavan. They could not even think without, even for a second, they could not be without thinking of Krishna. Rather, they actually curses the creator Brahma, that what sort of body, material body the Brahma has made, that we have eyelids which actually it actually closes, and that is a nimish matra, we are not able to see Krishna. So that is the Manmana, that is the example of Bhagavad, of gopis of Vrindavan. So he says the four methods of surrender is, be like the gopis of Vrindavan. Think about me always. Now, if you cannot do that, I don't think any of us can do that. If you cannot do that, bhav mad bhakto, be my devotee. And when you say be my devotee, means hear about me, chant about me, sing about me, listen, read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, know about me, do my worship, sing my prayers, and be my, and surrender to me. That is be my madhyajim. If you cannot do that, then you pay obeisances to me. Obeisances basically do prayers, do prayers, and do decoration of me. And Mam Namaskar, if you cannot do that anything, then at least do namaskar to me, worship me. So that is what he says. So these are the 4 things. If you do, then what will happen? Mame Veshyasuttatvam, being completely absorbed in me, what will happen? Surely you will come to me. So that is what was the final shlok of the 9th chapter, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. How to surrender? which is what is explained in the 9th chapter. And with this, we move to the 10th chapter. The chapter 10 is knowing that Krishna is unknowable and the source of all. That is the first section of 10th chapter. So let's start with the first slok. It says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shinu me paramam vachah.
Shinu me paramam vachah.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Vakshyami hit kamaya.
Vakshyami hita kamyaya.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shinu me paramam vachah.
Me paramam vachah.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Vakshyami hit kamaya.
Vakshyami hita kamyaya.
Mataji.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Me paramam vachah.
Shinu me paramam vachah.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Yatte ham priyamanaya.
Vakshyami hita kamyaya.
Vakshyami hit kamaya. Now here Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Krishna is saying, what does he watch? What does he say? Bhuya. Bhuya means listen again. Bhuya, I'm again repeating, listen again. Eva Mahabaho. Who is Mahabaho? Mahabaho is Arjun. Who is Mahabaho? Mahabaho is Anuj. And again he says the word Shunu. Here. Shunu means here. Here, Shunu me paramam vacha. Listen to me the supreme words, supreme things. Listen from me. Yat teham priyamanayam. Now, yat teham. You are, aham is I. You are my priyamanaya. You are my very dear friend. Priya. You are my priya. You are my very dear friend. Vakshyami hit kamya. So I will explain to you something which is of hit, of your hit kamya, of your for your benefit, right? So let us read the English translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
listen again.
listen again.
O mighty armed Arjun,
O mighty armed Arjun,
because you are my dear friend,
because you are my dear friend,
for your benefit,
for your benefit,
I shall speak to you further,
to speak to you further,
giving knowledge
giving knowledge
that is better than
that is better than
what I have already explained,
what I have explained.
right? So, if we go back, so we talked about chapter number 7 to 12, this Bhakti Yoga, right? From there, and chapter 7, why is this very important? Because these are the sections where Krishna started revealing himself, started talking about himself. Why is he telling about himself? Now, remember, Krishna is telling it to Arjun. Yeah, and Arjun and Krishna are actually cousins. They are very good friends, right? Now, Arjun is treating Krishna as a friend. But then in the second chapter, he surrenders himself to it. In the first chapter, Krishna doesn't speak anything to Arjun, no gyan. But in the second chapter, when he surrendered and said, please help me, and he says, you are my, I surrender to you, I accept you as my guru, then he starts speaking. Yeah. So now, imagine they are like two friends. Now he has to tell him about who he is. And that's what is the most secret part, because he starts revealing himself. So in the first chapter, what he did, in the 7th chapter, what he did, he started talking about his energies. We saw he talked about his material and spiritual energies. He talked about Apara and Parashakti. Apara is inferior energy, and he says earth, water, all these are basically my inferior energy. And my superior energy is basically the living entity. They are the marginal energies. So he explained about all those in the 7th chapter. And then he said that he is the cause of all causes. Anything that exists is because of him. Anything. He's the origin, he's the dissolution, everything is because of him. And then he also explained that he is the essence of everything. In the fire, the heat is the essence of fire. He is the heat in the fire. For an intelligent person, he is the buddhi buddhimatam asmi. I am the intelligence of our intelligence. I am the strength of a strong. I am the vibrations om. So he explained that whatever exists, whatever you see, it's because of me. He's the essence of everything. If it is the fire in the, the food get digested because of the fire, that is also I am. The digestion of food also happens because of me. So anything that happens, if you look at the essence, it is because of me, right? I'm the sun, the heat of the sun, and the light of the moon. Everything is because of me. That's what he explained in chapter number 7. And so basically after this, he's now talking again that he's going to talk about his opulences. All these things he talked about essence. Then in the 9th chapter, he talked about 8th and 9th, he talked about his origin, how everything origins happen, everything that originates is because of him. He's the creator of everything. And now he's going to talk about his opulences. Now, why is Krishna telling this again and again? So, first of all, what is the qualification of a person to hear this? So what is the qualification? The qualification is that, to understand, if you want to really understand Krishna, if we have to break this bondage of birth and death, then what has to happen? We have to surrender ourselves to Krishna. Now, someone if say, okay, you go ahead and surrender, you will not surrender unless you believe that he is the great, he is God, he's the supreme. It is very difficult. So he is again talking about his more opulences for a normal people, for Arjun, via Arjun, for normal people to understand who he is. Because what we will say, God is great. That's a statement. But how do you qualify that greatness? How do you qualify that greatness, that God is great? What does greatness means? So that's what he will talk about, his opulences. Because when you keep on hearing and then when you have a realization that anything and everything is because of Krishna, you automatically surrender to him. Okay, that's why he's talking about it. Yeah. So now let's go to the next shlok. Na me viduh surganaha प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहम् आदिः देवानां महर्षिणां च सर्वशः न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षिणां च सर्वशः. वैष्णवी.
न मे विदुः सुरगणाः
न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः
अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां
अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः. Now here Krishna says, na me viduh. Vidu means known. Vidu is to know. Sur means devta. Sur means devta. Sur gana means all the devta. Gana is sur gana means all the devtas. I am not known to the devtas. I am not known to the devtas. Prabhavam means origin. Na maharshya, and neither the great sages, neither I am known, neither the surgana, the devta know me, nor the maharsha, nor the great sages know me. Aham adi. Aham means I. Adi is the beginning. I am the beginning. He devanam. I am the origin of the devanam. I am the origin of all the devatas. Maharshinam cha sarvasha. Cha means all. And then I am also for the all sarvasham. All for all the devatas and the maharshis. I am the origin. Yeah. So let's read the English translation. Neither the hosts of demigods, nor the great sages, know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of demigods and sages. So now why he says that no, neither the devta, neither the great sages know me, because he is the origin of all. Now imagine, it is, if you have to equate to the present situation, it is like, a child who is born. He is born to the parents, right? How can he know about the parents? Unless the parents reveal about themselves to the child. Even if they reveals, how much a child can know about the parents? Even if he's very, very close to the parents, how much about the parents can they know? Now he is the origin of all the devtas and all the great sages. So how can they, and he is the origin of all of them. So how can they know him fully? How can they know him fully, right? But there is a method to know him. But how can they know him fully unless there's something, right? So he says, and there is like, why do they get bewildered? Why do they, they don't really know him? Because when he appears on this material world, like when he appeared as Krishna, what is he doing? In Vrindavan, he is stealing butter. Now imagine who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and you see he's stealing butter, you'll get bewildered. Is he really the supreme personality of Godhead? Right? And you are seeing he's getting tied by Yashoda Mata. Yeah. So you'll wonder, is he really the supreme personality of Godhead? So the Devatas and the great sages, they also get bewildered because of his pastimes that he's performing on the earth. Yeah. But there's a reason why he's performing the pastimes, right? So there in Bhagavatam, there are some few stories, which talks about how Brahma got bewildered or Indra got bewildered. So we all have probably heard about the Brahma Vimohana Leela. So the story goes like this, that once Krishna wanted to have a picnic in the forest. Now he is 5 years old, right? So he, along with all the friends, all the gopas, they all go early morning along with their calves to the forest with their tiffins. Now there what happened, in the before that he has already killed Putna and he already killed Bakasura. So Agasura demon, he wanted to take revenge from Krishna. So what he did, he took a shape of a serpent. He took the shape of a serpent, a very, very, very long serpent. It was ranging in few kilometers, and he made himself so high, just like a big mountain. And he opened his mouth wide. It looked as if from far, it looked as if there is a cave. It's a cave, and there was a mouth looked like the passage to the cave. And all the kids, all the gopas who had come with Krishna, looking at that new mountain and the caves, they got very much attracted. And what did they did? They ran towards Agasura. They ran towards the cave, to enter the cave. Now Krishna could know that he is a demon, but before he could stop the gopas, they actually entered into the mouth of Agasura. Now Agasura is waiting for Krishna to enter before he will close his mouth, right? But then now Krishna sees that all his gopas have already entered the mouth of Agasura. So what he finally does, he also enters, and then he started expanding his body. He started expanding his body so much that Agasura actually got suffocated and died. And then he brought all the gopas back. After that, when he got all the gopas back, he says he made them sit everyone in near Yamuna, and they started sharing the tiffins with each other. And then what happened, because he could see that the gopas are tired, the calves, they used to take the calves along with them. The calves were actually pasturing here and there. So Krishna said, okay, you don't worry, all of you eat, and let them eat the grass. It's all green, let them eat the grass, and let's peacefully sit and eat the tiffin. Now what happened is, when they were all engaged in eating the tiffin, where each of the gopas are trying to give his food to Krishna, and Krishna very nicely is eating the food, Brahma is seeing from the top. And in the meantime, the calves actually went inside the forest. Now, but when the gopas realized that the calves are not there, they looked behind and they said, oh, where are the calves? And they wanted to go and bring the calves. Krishna said, okay, you all wait here. Let me go and get the calves. Now, when Krishna went in the forest, he was looking around. He didn't see the calves there. Yeah. What happened? Brahma, who was actually watching Krishna sitting along with all the gopas and eating the food, he was wondering that who says that he is the supreme personality of God. He's just some little boy, some human here, and it's just that they're saying that so what he did is, okay, let me see his power. What he did was, he actually hid all the calves. He hid all the calves. Now Krishna went around looking at the calves, and when he came back, he couldn't find the calves. And when he came back, he saw that there's no gopas around the Yamuna also. Now when for first time he wondered, where are they? And when he looked into, he realized that, okay, Brahma has taken all of them. Brahma has taken all of them. So what Krishna did, he said, okay, now let me show Brahma his power. What he did, he actually expanded himself. And he expanded himself to the exactly same number of gopas, and not only the same number of gopas, also the same number of calves. He expanded himself and dressed exactly like each of them. whatever tiffin they were carrying, bags they were carrying, exactly each, and all nicely they all went back to back to Vrindavan to their parents. Now there what happened, because each of them was Krishna expanded, each of the gopis, actually the elder gopis, they all wanted Krishna to be their son. Yeah. Now Krishna was also giving that wishes, fulfilling that wishes of them by this pastime. So now as soon as they found their son back, they somehow felt that they're feeling more love towards them and started loving them a lot. And similarly, the cows, when they went to their cow, the cow also started loving their cows more, right? And this way, nothing changed. 1 year passed. Every day, Krishna used to take all of them to forest, used to come back. 1 year passed, nothing changed. But then what happened? One day, that day this happened when Balram was not there with Krishna. One day when Balram was going along with him, he saw it was already 1 year past, and he saw that something is strange. He felt that, the behavior of the cows and gopas are not same. Now Krishna is now 6 years old. And there what happened, Brahma came down, also wanted to see what's happening down. Within a second, he had come back. But we know that the timeline in the Brahma thing and on the earth is different. So by 1 second, there has already 1 year has passed. And when Brahma looked down, he saw that again all the gopas, all the cows are as is. So he understood. He was bewildered. I mean, what happened? They are still sleeping inside. How come they are seeing them? And then he realized, and then he started, he saw everyone, whomever he has hidden is as is they are sleeping. Then he looked at, now Krishna knew that Brahma is watching. So what he did? He actually showed the real gopas to them. So Brahma could see that each of them were a Vishnu's expansion. And he showed that thing. And then Brahma came down and started requested for mercy from Krishna. So even Brahma can get bewildered, right? We also know about the story of Govardhan Hill, right? What happened there? There, Krishna wanted to teach a lesson to Indra. Krishna wanted to teach a lesson to Indra. Here, yesterday was Govardhan Puja, so let me narrate this story also. So there, what happened was Krishna wanted, Indra in Vrindavan, all the gopas, gopis, they used to actually pray to Indra annually. Every year, they used to actually make a lot of bhoga and offer to Indra, and so that they can get good rains and the grass and all. Now Krishna, being the supreme personality of Godhead himself, and he knew that Indra is, Indra, because of all the offering that's happening to him, he's becoming very much proud and puffed up. So he wanted to teach Indra a lesson, that if you are you have powers, it is all given by me. You don't have to you're doing your duty, you don't have to get pride because of your duty. If you will have a pride, then I'm going to teach you a lesson. And that's what he did in this case. So what he did, he asked all the Nand Maharaj, said, why are you going to pray to Indra? Why don't we go and all the cows actually eat grass from Govardhan, so why don't we go and do prayers of Govardhan? I know there it's Govardhan who actually give all the grass, and it gives everything, so let us do that. Now Nand Maharaj and everyone, they agreed. And they did what they did. They did not do Indra Puja. Rather, they whatever yagna saman they had assembled, they all took in their carts to Govardhan. And they did the puja of Govardhan, and they did a parikrama of Govardhan, and they made lot of food and started offering to Govardhan. Now Krishna himself converted himself into Govardhan and started accepting all the food that was being given by the Brajvasis. He kept on eating, and once he ate, he used to say, Aniyor. Aniyor means give me more. And again the Brajvasis used to make more, and again they used to offer to Krishna. Again he used to eat within seconds and say, Aniyor, so give me more. And finally they were like, how to give more? And finally what happened was, there's a village called Aniyor in near Govardhan. And then finally what he did was, then they had to get to all nearby villages, get the food there. And when they offered, they also offered with tulsi. And when they offered the food along with tulsi, and when they offered to Krishna, Krishna was fully satisfied. And so now everyone was happy, and they all returned back to Vrindavan. But then what happened? Indra got extremely angry. Who is this little boy? He's just 7 years old, and he's chatting he's a chatterbox, and he's because of his talks, he has actually devoid myself for all the offerings that should have been given. So let me now teach this person a lesson. And what he did, he called the worst cloud, the Samvartak cloud. He called the cloud. This cloud is called only during devastation. When Pralay has to come, then this cloud is called by Indra, and the rains are done so heavily that everything gets destroyed. He said, it's time for me to teach Vrindavan Vrajvasis a lesson and teach this small boy Krishna a lesson. He called the Samvartak cloud and said, go and devastate Vrindavan. And now what happened? They started Samavata cloud, what it started? It started pouring the drops were like as if pillars are falling on the, and all the Brajvasis, they are the greatest Manmana, they are the greatest devotee. And what do? They ran to Krishna, help us. And he says, okay, don't worry. What he did, he just picked up Govardhan hill from his left hand, left little finger, and he said, everyone come inside, come under that. And all the Rajvasis, they were actually standing under the umbrella of Govardhan hill, all the calves. And this Krishna gave the occasion, this he gave to all the Rajvasis to be with him for 7 days, 7 consecutive days. And then all the elder gopis, all his Gopa friend, they thought that Krishna will get very tired, so they all actually supported them with the stick, holding that so that Krishna should not get tired. And Krishna is nicely holding. Now Indra is getting worried there. 7 days have passed, so much rain, but nothing is happening. And then Indra sat into meditation and realized that it was Krishna is nothing. He's actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So and then what happened? He immediately called the cloud back. The sunshine happened, and Krishna asked everyone to go back home. And then Indra came, and he actually again asked for forgiveness. Right. So when devatas can get bewildered, then what about the normal humans? How can they understand Krishna? Right. So now let us go to the third shlok. Yo mam ajam anadim cha
Yo mam ajam anadim cha
veti lokamaheshwaram
vedi lokamaheshwaram
asammudha samatyeshu
asammula samatyeshu
sarvapapai pramuchyate.
sarvapapai pramuchyate.
Yo mam ajam anadim cha
Yo mam ajam anadim cha
veti lokamaheshwaram
vedi lokamaheshwaram
asammudha samatyeshu
asammula samatyeshu
sarvapapai pramuchyate.
sarvapapai pramuchyate.
Yo mam ajam anadam cha
Yo mam ajam anadim cha
Tiloka maheshwaram
veti lokamaheshwaram
Asammula samatteshu
asammudha samatyeshu
Papaye pramushite
sarvapapai pramuchyate. Now here Krishna says, yo mam, those who, mam is me, right? Those who, ajam anadim cha, those who, veti means no, veti means no. Those who know me as ajanma, means unborn, anadi is beginningless, and loka maheshwaram, lok is, he is the supreme lord, loka, he is the loka maheshwaram. Those who know me as ajam, anadi, and lokamaheshwaram asammudha samatyeshu. And some means those. So what happened? Those people, what will happen to them? They are asammudha. They will not get bewildered, and they will sarva papai pramuchyate. From all the sins they will get freed. Yeah. So let us read the English translation. He who knows me
He who knows me
as the unborn,
as the unborn,
as the beginningless,
as the beginningless,
as the supreme lord of all the worlds,
as the supreme lord of all the world,
he only, undeluded among men,
undeluded among men,
is freed from all sins.
is free from all sins.
Right. So only those who can accept. That's why he is now talking about himself more, because when you say God is great, you have to understand to get to surrender to him. Once you realize that everything is because of him, then only you can surrender to him, right? So he says, those who understand, know me as unborn and beginningless and the supreme lord, only those undiluted among men, they can get freed from all the sins. Now, in 7th chapter, the 3rd shlok of Bhagavad Gita, 7.3 says, Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschid yadadi siddhaye Yatatamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvata. He says, Manushyanam sahasreshu. Manushyanam sahasreshu means thousands. Among thousands and thousands of men, what happened? Kaschid yatiti siddhya. Someone, very few tries to go for siddhi. Siddhi means spiritual knowledge. Because everyone is actually busy in enjoying in this material world. But out of millions and millions of people, or thousands and thousands of people, there are very few who actually wants to know about spiritual knowledge. They themselves are very great because they why are they trying to know about spiritual knowledge? Because they have understood, or they have a realization that we are not this body, but this we are soul, and they want to understand more. So he appreciates that, at least some people wants to know and wants to move towards the spiritual knowledge. Yatatamapi siddhanam. And out of that siddhas, and out of those thousands of people who are trying to know, to move towards spiritual, kaschin mam veti tatvata. Hardly any. Kaschin mam veti. Veti is known. Tatvata. They actually know me. They actually know me. So Krishna says, out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Yeah. So why? So those who knows the Tvat will get delivered from sins. Yeah, and how to, and what Krishna says in the 18th chapter 55th shlok, he says how to know Krishna. What is the way to know Krishna? He says, as in the last chapter, 18th chapter 55th shlok, he says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. How can you know Krishna? Only via bhakti. You may be a great scholar, but you will not know Krishna. Because what happens when you have, when you have a lot of knowledge, you are proud of that knowledge. And when you are proud of that knowledge, or you want to have that, I am trying to know that knowledge, what happens? Because of that pride, you will not be able to surrender to Krishna. You will not be able to surrender to Krishna. And to know Krishna, the only method is you have to surrender. Arjun, who could be greater than Arjun? Yeah, either in knowledge or in strength or other things, right? But then, till he surrendered to himself, Krishna never spoke about himself. So if someone wants to know Krishna, if you really want to know Krishna, you have to surrender. And to surrender, what is it? So how can you know when you surrender? How? That is basically the path of bhakti. The path of bhakti. And then, so Krishna says, to know me, bhaktya mam abhijanati. You can only know me via bhakti. Yeah. And then when you know me by bhakti, you can actually, you will enter into my kingdom. And then what we learned in the 9th chapter, the last shlok, Krishna says, Man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji man mamaskuru mame veshi atmanam. He says, this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. He says that, okay, through bhakti, and how in bhakti, how do we do bhakti? He says, Man manabhav mad bhakto. We talked about that. Think about me always. So this is how you can do bhakti to know Krishna, right? Now let's go back to the third shlok. Yo mam ajamanadi. So those who can know him as, this? Only the devotees. Yeah, because rest of the thing will see his challenge, they will question his activity. They will question why it is so, what it is, how can he is unborn, because he appeared as a son of Devaki and Vasudev. Yeah, so all those questions will come. But when you are a bhakta, you have surrendered, you will try to understand him, and through that you can learn that, right? So Krishna says, so now here Krishna is saying in this shlok that I am Ajanma. But we all know that Krishna had actually appeared as a son of Devaki and Vasudev. Then how is he unborn? So if you go back to Bhagavatam, in Bhagavatam it explains how actually the birth of Krishna happened. Yeah, he says he did not, his birth was not like our birth, which is based on our karma. And that's how we take birth. But he appeared. He did not take birth as a normal process. He actually appeared as a four-hand form of Narayan. And on the request of Devaki and Vasudev, he actually converted himself to a small boy. And when he came, he was fully decked with, in the dresses. He was with jewels. His full hair was there. He was having kaustubh madi. He was fully dressed. And he asked Nand Maharaj, take me to Gokul and get the child, the girl who is born there, you bring the child back, and everything he arranged and everything opened. We all know the story of his birth, right? So he appears when he wants. And why does he appear? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So why does he appear? He appears to re-establish dharma. He appears to paritranaya sadhuna, to deliver the pious. He appears to, he does not have to actually kill the miscreants. His energies are enough to kill the miscreants. But that is why too, the great rishis and munis who had been actually doing lots of prayers to get Krishna, he comes to give back what they wanted. And that is why in Vrindavan, they are gop. The gops are his friends, Sakha, who actually, they are the great rishis, munis, who actually wanted to play with Krishna. And that's why he appeared to play with Krishna. In Vrindavan, no one considered him as God, because they all, whatever they wish, Yashoda Ma, they worshipped him too as a son. So now he appeared as a son. They never believed that Krishna is a God. For them, it was my son. It is like going and asking Modi's mother that, do you know Modi is prime minister? He'll say, maybe he's prime minister for you. He's my son. And whether she'll beat whoever you are. Yeah, you are my child. I don't care. For others, you are, right? So for Yashodama, he was a son. She used to pray all to all the gods that please save Krishna, right? So that is what it is like, so that is what. So he is actually unborn. He appears. Also, he appears for, some people think that he's impersonal. He doesn't have a form. So he shows his form that I have a form. I'm impersonal as well as personal, right? So that is there. And then he says, Asam mudha samatesar papa pramuchate. Now, there's a shlok in the 9th chapter which says, Avajananti ma mudha manushim tanu ashritam. Those who think, when I take manushim tanu ashritam, when I take the form of a manush, when I take a human form, when I take the form of a human, at that time, those who consider, they consider me as a normal human, who are they? Avajanti ma mudha. They are actually mudha. They are foolish. They are foolish who thinks me as a human when I appear as a human in this world, right? That's why Krishna says, Asamudha samatyeshu sarvabha. So those who understand all these things, they will get freed from all the sins, right? And the famous shlok of 4th chapter, which is Janma karm cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata taktva deham punarjanma neti mameti swarjuna. Krishna says in 4th chapter that my appearance and my karma, my activities, they are divyam, they are divine. They are divyam, they are divine. And yo veti tatvata, and who can know the tattva, who can understand this tattva, taktva deham, when they leave this material body, punarjanma nayati, they will not take rebirth, O Arjun, right? That's he guarantees that in the 4th chapter, 9th shlok, right? Now let us go to the next shlok, 4th and 5th of 10th chapter. Buddhir jnanam sammoha Kshama satyam damah shamah Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha Ahimsa samata tushtis Tapodanam yasho yashah Bhavanti bhava bhutanam Matta eva prithagvidha Buddhir jnanam sammoha Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha Ahimsa samata tushtis Tapodanam yasho yashah Bhavanti bhava bhutanam Matta eva prithagvidha. Mataji. Buddhir jnanam asammoha Kshama satyam dama shama
Sukham dukkam bhavo bhavo.
Sukham dukham bhavo bhavo.
Shabhyam eva cha.
Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha.
Ahimsa samata tush. It's the same one thing.
Ahimsa samata tushtis.
Tapodanam yasho yashaha.
Tapodanam yasho yashah.
Bhavanti bhava bhutanam.
Ti bhava bhutanam.
Eva pratak vidaha.
Matta eva pathakvidha. Now here Krishna defines various qualities and he says all these qualities are created by me alone. If someone is buddhi, if someone is intelligent, that is because of me. If you remember the stroke in the seventh chapter, buddhi buddhimatam asmi. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Gyan, if someone is knowledgeable, it's again because the Gyan, Asomoha, that is not freedom from doubt and delusion. Kshama, forgiveness. Satyam, truthfulness. Dama is sense control. Shama is mind control. Sukh is happiness. Dukh is distress. It is not only the good qualities, but the all the bad qualities also is because of me. They all are is controlled by me. Bhava means birth. Abhava means death. Bhaya means fear. Abhaya is fearlessness. Ahimsa is non-violence. Samtha is equanimity. Tushti is Tushti is satisfaction. Tapo is austerity. Danam is charity. Yash is fame. Ayash is infamy. All these qualities that you see is all created by me alone. So we can read the English translation. Intelligence,
Intelligence,
knowledge,
knowledge,
freedom from doubt and delusion,
freedom from doubt and delusion,
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
truthfulness,
truthfulness,
control of the senses,
control of the senses,
control of the mind, happiness,
happiness,
distress,
distress,
birth,
birth,
death,
death,
fear,
fear,
fearlessness,
fearless,
non-violence,
non-violence,
equanimity,
equanimity,
satisfaction,
satisfaction,
austerity,
austerity,
charity,
charity,
fame and infamy.
fame and infamy.
All these various qualities of living beings
All these various qualities of living beings
are created by me alone.
are created by me.
Yeah, got it? Now, especially for intelligence, I would like to speak. Now, you know how he controls the intelligence. It is all your desire. He lets you have your free desire. Now, if you believe, oh, I don't believe in God. So what will happen? He will ensure that he'll give you like, when you wear a red specs, everything looks red to you. So he will give you a red specs so that accordingly you'll start seeing things. But now, if you want to believe in God and want to know more, then he will give you a yellow specs. So everything you will be moving towards will be in that direction. So he gets based on your desire, your intelligence get guided by him, right? Okay, now let's go to the next slok. Maharshya saptah purve
Mahashaya saptapurve
chatvaro manavastatha
chatvaro manavaschata
madbhava manasa jata
madbhava manasa jata
yesham loka imam praja.
isham loka imam praja
Maharshaya saptapurve
Mahashaya saptapurve
chatvaro manavasthata
chatvaro manavastata
madbhava manasa jata
madbhava manasa jata
yesham loka imah praja.
isham loka imam praja
Maharshaya Saptapurve
Maharshaya saptapurve
Chatvaro Manasvastatha
chatvaro manavasthatha
Madhava Manasa Jata
madbhava manasa jata
Yesham Loka Imah Praja
yesham loka imah praja. Maharshaya sapta, the seven sages, yeah, the seven sages, Saptarishi, Purve, and before that, Chatvaro Manavasthata. Chatvaro is the four Kumaras, Manava, Manu, Tatha, and Manu. Madbhava Manasa, they all are created. Madbhava, they have been created by my bhav, by my manasa, by my mind. Jata is given birth. Yesham Lok Ima Praja, and from them all the other, and from them what has happened? All the other praja living beings have been created, right? So let us read the English translation. The seven great sages,
The seven great sages,
and before them the four other great sages,
and before them the four other great sages,
they are the four Kumaras, right? and the Manus
The Manus
come from me,
come from me,
born from my mind,
born from my mind.
and all the living beings
All the living beings
populating the various planets
populating the various
descends
planets
from them.
descend from them.
Now, in the previous class, we have already read about the Purusha avatars. We read about the three Purusha avatars. We talked about Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Shirodakshaya Vishnu, right? We talked about how from Mahavishnu all the universes get created, and from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is, from his navel, one lotus stem comes, and at the top of the lotus, Brahmaji is situated. And in the stem, all the 14 lok is there, right? That's what we talked about, right? So, and then now, when so Brahma was created from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel, right? And then in the lotus, the Brahma was there. So how it happened? Now we all know Brahma is a creator. We all know Brahma is a creator. Now in this shlok, Krishna explains how Brahma got the power to create. So when Brahma was created from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he actually meditated there for thousands of demigod years. He meditated there for thousands of demigod years. And after that meditation, when he did that, he actually heard the sound. He got the knowledge from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He got that knowledge. And when that knowledge came to him, then he could create. So initial creation that happened of Brahma, and then the four Kumaras and the Saptarshi and the Manus were via Brahma, through his energy, they got created. This is what is explained in this shlok, right? So here he's revealing the reality, how actually happens. We know it's a creator, but how actually he became a creator is explained in this shlok. Understood? Yeah. So this is how actually the whole thing got created. Now let's go to the next shlok. Etam vibhutim yogam cha
Etam vibhutim yogam cha
mama yo veti tatvatah
mayo veti tatvatah
so vikalpena yogena
kalpena yogena
युज्यते नात्र संशयः
yate natra samshayah.
एतां विभूतिं योगं च
Etam vibhutim yogam cha
मम यो वेति तत्त्वतः
mayo veti tatvatah
सो विकल्पेन योगेन
so kalpena yogena
युज्यते नात्र संशयः
yate natra samshayah.
एतां विभूतिं योगं च
एतां विभूतिं योगं च
वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
मम यो वेति तत्त्वतः
विकल्पेन योगेन
सो विकल्पेन योगेन
संशयः
युज्यते नात्र संशयः. Now here let's read the English translation. One who is factually convinced
One who is factually convinced
of this opulence and mystic power of mine
of this opulence and mystic power of mind
engages in unalloyed devotional service.
engages in unallowed devotional service.
Of this there is no doubt.
Of this there is no doubt.
So etam vibhutim yogencha. Vibhutim is opulences and yogen is the mystic power. So who understands? So he has been explaining about his power right till now. So those who understand these opulences and the mystic power of Krishna, what happens? They actually get into the unalloyed devotional service to Krishna, and then what will happen? There is no doubt about that. So basically, again, we will read about the other opulences. So this is how, God is great. How do you explain God is great, and who is God? So all this is what Krishna is explaining about himself. He's actually revealing about himself, and that is why this is their confidential knowledge. That is why this is the confidential knowledge. Because if this is talked to someone who doesn't have faith, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't talk about this to people who don't have faith, because they'll never understand. Because to understand Krishna, you have to surrender. You have to surrender. You have to be humble. You have to surrender. And when you are eager to know about him, you will actually come to know about him, right? Now with this is the 7th chapter. We are finishing Bhagavad Gita today. And I will start I'll take 15 minutes, a small, I wanted to share about this month, which is Kartik month. And this is a very, very special month. And I wanted to share some information about Kartik month, and wanted to request all of you to do few things in this particular month. So I'll talk about the glories of Kartik month. As per Pad Puran, as Satya Yug is the best of Yug, As Ganga is the best of rivers, so Kartik is the best of month and it is most dear to Krishna. As per our Puran, a small austerity that you do is that is performed in the month of Kartik that gets multiplied by 1,000 times. If you take one name of Krishna, what happens? The results of it is equivalent to calling Krishna 1,000 times. Yeah? So that is the power of this Kartik month. And when we do it, those who perform Kartik Vrata, they become very close to Krishna. So I want to talk to you about what is this Kartik Vrat. So Kartik Vrat is get up early in the morning before sunrise and take bath. Hear and read the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, chant the holy name, offer ghee diya to Damodar and sing Damodar Ashtakam, do Tulsi Seva and offer Tulsi leaves to Krishna, do as much service as you can, to go to temple, circumambulate the temple, do some seva of the sun, whatever devotional service you can do, you please do, because by doing all these things, what happens? We purify ourselves. And in this Kartik month, it's like, it's like 1,000 times. If you're doing one thing, you're getting 1,000 times benefit. So we must do it so that we can purify ourselves and we can become closer to Krishna. So I wanted to also tell you some stories about why we should take bath early in the morning before sunrise, right? So these are stories from Pad Puran that I'll be now narrating. So Krishna says about, there was a Asur called Shankasur. He's a son of sea. Shankasur is a son of sea. Now, he actually fought with Indra. He was actually very jealous of all the Devtas, because he thought that all these Devtas, they are so, enjoying everything because they have the power of Vedas. And if I take away the Vedas, then what will happen? That is the power of the Devtas. If I take away the Vedas from them, then what will happen? They lose their power. So what Shankasur did, he stole the Vedas from there and he hid it under the sea. He hid it under the sea. Then Indra and all the Devtas, they went to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji then went to Vishnu, requesting him for help. That we need our Vedas back. So Vishnu said, fine, we'll do it. But then what you need to do? You all wait for me at Prayag, which is Allahabad. You wait at Prayag and I'll come and meet you. Now, what he did, he actually turned himself into a fish. So that is the story of Matsya Avatar. He converted into a fish. And at that point of time, Kashyap Muni was actually doing prayers. And he fell in the hands of Kashyap Muni. Kashyap Muni took the fish and put it in his Kamandal. Now that fish grew bigger than Kamandal. He took it out and put it near the pond in his house. Now the fish became bigger than the pond, and then he took it and put it in the river. And from river, the fish went to sea. And there, the fish fought with Shankasur, killed Shankasur, and came back. And then he came back to Prayag, and he asked all the rishis, you can now go to the sea and get the Vedas. Now, whichever rishi went and bought whatever part of Veda, that part of Veda is in their name. And that is how that, it became in their name. And they all came to Prayag. Then Krishna wished that place, he actually blessed that place, Prayag, that down the line what will happen? Bhagirathi, sage Bhagirathi will bring Ganga here. He'll bring Ganga here, and then here it will actually meet Yamuna and Saraswati, and this place will always be the auspicious space where I will always be there. Yeah, whoever is, so that is the Mahima of Prayag. And then he also blessed. He says, in the month of Kartik, I am going to reside in water. I'm going to reside in water. Not only I will reside in water, but all the Ved mantras will reside in water. All the yajnas will reside in water, and I will reside in water. And whoever takes bath early in the morning before sunrise, they will actually get moksha. They'll become very close to me and I'll take care of them. Yeah. So one of the things which is requested is, please get up early in the morning, take bath before sunrise if possible. Then also in the Puran, it says that if you offer one tulsi leaves in the month of Kartik to Damodar to Krishna, it is actually equivalent to offering 10 million cows. It's the daan that we give 10 million cows, it is equated to that, right? Then it says, you should offer the ghee lamp to Damodar, especially the form of Damodar. We'll talk the story of Damodar next time, but I'll tell you the story of why it is said the glories of offering ghee lamp to Krishna in the month of Kartik, what it is said. So again in Padpuran, Satyabhama asked Krishna, that Satyabhama is one of the queens of Krishna, and she asked Krishna that what austerity would I have been done in my previous life that I became your wife? What I would have done? I mean, I'm your wife. I must have done extreme austerities because of which I got that piety and I became your wife. So Krishna then tells the story to Satyabhama about her previous life. He says, in the previous life, you were actually daughter called Gunavati of Dev Sharma, and you stayed in a place called Haridwar. And Dev Sharma, and his disciple called Chandra, they were like, great knowledgeable people in Vedas, and they were big worshippers. They were very depth in Vedas, and so you were their daughter, Dev Sharma's daughter, and Chandra was your husband. Now once what happened, Chandra and Dev Sharma, they went to Himalayas to get some woods, and when they went to forest, they actually got killed. And when they got killed by some wild animals, they were taken by the Vishnu Dutas back to Vaikuntha. And when you heard about it, then what you did, you got, you were left alone. When you heard about it, you got very sad, but then you very nicely did the last rites of your parents, of your husband as well as your father. And then you took a promise of doing the Kartik Vrata and Ekadashi Vrata throughout your life, and you actually led a very very austere life. You did lot of, you followed lot of Kartik. You religiously did all the Kartik Vrata, and you followed the Ekadashi throughout your life. And when you grew old, one day when you were actually went to take bath in Ganga, you actually slipped, and then Vishnu Dut came and took you. And then in the next life, your father Dev Sharma was born as when I came down, when Krishna came down. At that point of time, what happened? Dev Sharma was born as Satyajit. Satyajit is Satyabhama's father in during Krishna's time, right? So yeah, Dev Sharma was born as Satyajit. You was born as Satyabhama, Satyajit's wife, and Chandra was born as Akrur. Akrur is the person who came and took Krishna and Balram from Vrindavan to back to Mathura, right? He was a great devotee of Krishna. So all these things happened because you followed Kartik Vrata and Ekadashi Vrata without fail. So that is the mahima, that is the glory of Kartik Vrata. This month is also called Damodar month, and I'll talk about that why we should offer the ghee lamp to Damodar, and why we should read Damodar Ashtakam. So my request to all of you is, if you can, please follow Kartik Vrata. Please look for Damodar Ashtakam and read Damodar Ashtakam, and offer the lamp to, this photo that you are seeing. This is of Krishna in the form of Damodar. This month is also called Damodar, and offer ghee lamp to Damodar. With this, we will end today's class. Hare Krishna. Let's chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra thrice. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.